Did you know that Boyz and the Hood was written by a college student who hadn't even graduated yet, and it later earned him an Oscar nomination? Or that one shocking on-set incident was so real, the cast thought someone was actually shot for real? This is just a beginning. In this video, we will uncover 20 weird facts about Boyz and the Hood. Stick around till the end, because some of these facts are crazier than the movie itself. Number 1. John Singleton wrote the script while still in college. John Singleton wasn't even a professional filmmaker when he wrote Boyz and the Hood. He was just 22 years old, a student at the University of Southern California's film school, working on his senior thesis project. What started as a class assignment turned into one of the most powerful urban dramas in American cinema. The craziest part? Singleton sent his script to Columbia Pictures as part of a student application, and they were so blown away that they bought it immediately. Within months, Singleton went from student to one of the youngest directors ever nominated for an Academy Award. Number 2. The script was semi-autobiographical. Many people don't realize that Boyz and the Hood wasn't just fiction. It was John Singleton's life. He grew up in the same South Central Los Angeles neighborhood that the film portrays. The scenes of gun violence, police harassment, and everyday struggles weren't exaggerated Hollywood drama. They were inspired by real events he witnessed growing up. Even the character Furious Style, played by Lawrence Fishburne, was loosely based on Singleton's own father, who raised him with strict discipline and deep life lessons. Number 3. Ice Cube's acting debut almost didn't happen. Ice Cube's breakout role as Doughboy almost didn't happen, because he wasn't an actor at all. Singleton, who was a huge NWA fan, met Ice Cube at a hip-hop event and told him straight up, "You're Doughboy." Ice Cube laughed it off, thinking it was a joke. But Singleton was serious. He believed Cube had the raw authenticity that Hollywood actors couldn't fake. Cube agreed to audition, nailed it, and the rest is history. Boyz and the Hood turned him into a movie star overnight. Number 4. The drive-by scene was too real. During the filming of the famous drive-by shooting scene, the production team was actually terrified. The set was in a real Los Angeles neighborhood known for gang activity, and word spread fast that a movie about gangs was being filmed there. Locals mistook the blanks used in the scene for real gunfire, and a few even fired back in confusion. The cast and crew had to take cover, and production was temporarily halted. The realism in that scene wasn't just great filmmaking, it was dangerously real. Number 5. Cuba Gooding Jr. was terrified during filming. Cuba Gooding Jr., who played Trey Styles, admitted later that he was genuinely scared during several outdoor scenes. The movie was shot in real Crip and Blood gang territories. At one point, while filming at night, a few gang members showed up on set and confronted the crew, questioning why they were filming there. Singleton had to personally negotiate with them, assuring that the movie wasn't exploiting their community, but trying to show the truth. From that day on, the local gangs actually started protecting the film crew during shoots. Number 6. Lawrence Fishburne was only 7 years older than Cuba Gooding Jr. Here's something weird. In Boyz and the Hood, Lawrence Fishburne plays Furious Styles, the wise and protective father of Trey. But in real life, Fishburne was only 7 years older than Gooding. That's right, Fishburne was just 30 when the movie came out, while Gooding Jr. was 23. The reason it still worked so well is because of Fishburne's commanding presence and maturity. Singleton said he chose Fishburne not for his age, but because he could make you believe every word that came out of his mouth. It's wild to think that one of the most iconic father-son duos in film history were practically the same generation. Number 7. The police car scene was based on a real encounter. That intense scene where Trey gets harassed by a racist black LAPD officer wasn't just written for drama. It actually happened to John Singleton himself. Singleton once got pulled over while driving through his neighborhood, and the officer, who was also black, verbally humiliated him in front of his friend. That moment stuck with him for years. And when he wrote Boyz and the Hood, he turned that trauma into one of the film's most unforgettable scenes. The scene resonated with millions because it wasn't just cinematic, it was truth. Singleton said later in an interview, Every black man I know has had that moment with the police. I just wanted to put it on film so the world could see what it feels like. Number 8. The film was shot in chronological order. Unlike most Hollywood movies, Boyz and the Hood was filmed almost completely in chronological order, meaning the story was shot from beginning to end, exactly as it happens in the movie. John Singleton insisted on this unusual approach so the young actors, especially Cuba Gooding Jr., Ice Cube, and Morris Chestnut, could grow emotionally with their characters. By the time they reached the tragic ending, the actors weren't just acting, they were feeling the weight of the story. Morris Chestnut said later, "When we filmed the last scene, I didn't have to imagine losing someone. After spending weeks living this story, I was Doughboy's brother. The emotion was real." Number 9. Singleton fought the studio to keep the ending tragic. Believe it or not, the original studio executives didn't want Boyz and the Hood to end the way it did. They wanted a happier Hollywood ending. Maybe Doughboy doesn't die, or maybe Trey moves out and lives a peaceful life. But John Singleton refused. He told them, "That's not how it ends in real life." He argued that the tragedy was the entire point, to show that no matter how smart, kind, or hopeful someone is, the environment can still crush them. In the end, Columbia Pictures took a risk and let him keep his ending. That decision turned Boyz and the Hood into a cultural landmark, a film that didn't flinch from the pain it was portraying. Number 10. The neighborhood became a safe haven during filming. When filming first started, locals were skeptical. Many thought the movie would just exploit their struggles. But as word spread that Singleton was from the same area and was telling their story, something amazing happened. The entire neighborhood came together to protect the film crew. Gang members stood guard at night, making sure no one disrupted the shoot. Kids from the neighborhood would show up daily, just to watch the actors work. Some were even hired as extras or assistants. By the end of production, the set had transformed into a small community united by one mission: to tell the world what life was really like in South Central Los Angeles. Singleton later said, "They didn't just let us film there, they became part of the film's soul." Number 11. Tupac Shakur was almost cast in Boyz and the Hood. Before Ice Cube became Doughboy, another rap legend nearly joined the cast: Tupac Shakur. During early discussions, John Singleton met Tupac through mutual friends in the LA music scene. Tupac was deeply intrigued by the script and told Singleton he wanted a role, any role, that had something to say. Singleton seriously considered him, but the timing didn't work out. Tupac was busy building his rap career and hadn't yet broken into acting. Still, Singleton later said that Tupac's passion for truth and community mirrored the spirit of Boyz and the Hood perfectly. Interestingly, a few years later, Tupac starred in Poetic Justice, also directed by Singleton, finally realizing the collaboration they had missed out on. Number 12. The film's most emotional scene was completely improvised. That unforgettable scene where Furious Styles lectures Trey and Ricky about responsibility and violence, it wasn't fully scripted. Lawrence Fishburne took Singleton's outline and turned it into a powerful improvised speech. Singleton told Fishburne, "Just talk to them like they're your son," and that's exactly what he did. Cuba Gooding Jr. later said that during filming, Fishburne's words hit so hard that he forgot they were acting. When the cameras stopped rolling, even the crew was silent. Many had tears in their eyes. That entire moment, one of the most quoted scenes in the movie, came straight from the heart, not the page. Number 13. Morris Chestnut's death scene was filmed in one take. The heartbreaking death of Ricky Baker was done in just one take. John Singleton didn't want to rehearse it too much because he feared it would lose authenticity. Morris Chestnut recalled that Singleton pulled him aside and said, "Just run, and when you fall, don't stop until you feel it." The gunshot, the scream, the slow-motion collapse, it was all captured raw, emotional, and unfiltered. After they finished the scene, there was total silence on set. No one spoke for almost a minute. Cuba Gooding Jr. later said, "It didn't feel like acting anymore. It felt like losing a brother." Number 14. The LAPD harassed the cast during filming. Ironically, while the movie was exposing police brutality, the actors themselves were facing it. During nighttime shoots, police cars would circle the set, shining spotlights and intimidating the cast and crew. One night, Ice Cube was pulled over just blocks away from the set, and when he told the officers he was working on a movie, they laughed and said, "Yeah, right." John Singleton later said, "It proved my point better than the film ever could." Number 15. John Singleton was the youngest and first black director nominated for an Oscar. When Boyz and the Hood hit theaters, John Singleton was only 23 years old. That made him the youngest director ever, and the first African-American director in history to be nominated for an Academy Award. Singleton's nomination was a massive cultural moment. It signaled a new era in Hollywood. He wasn't just telling a story, he was demanding that black voices and experiences be taken seriously on the world's biggest stage. Even more inspiring, Singleton wrote Boyz and the Hood as his college thesis project at USC, proving that passion and authenticity can outshine any Hollywood budget. Number 16. The film was shot almost entirely in the real South Central. Unlike many Hollywood productions that fake urban settings, Boyz and the Hood was filmed right in South Central Los Angeles, the same streets the story was based on. John Singleton wanted raw authenticity, so he refused to use sound stages. This decision made filming unpredictable. At times, actual gunshots could be heard in the distance during take. The cast said that being there wasn't just acting, it felt like living the story. Many extras were real local, adding an unfiltered realism that Hollywood sets can never replicate. Number 17. The film premiered at Cannes to a standing ovation. It might surprise you that a movie about South Central Los Angeles gang life received an 8-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival in France. Many European critics were stunned by its realism and emotional power. It was rare at the time for a film about young black men in America's inner cities to be screened at such a prestigious international festival, and it instantly cemented John Singleton as a visionary filmmaker on the world stage. Number 18. The actors lived in the neighborhood during filming. To make sure the performances felt authentic, John Singleton insisted that most of the cast live in the real South Central neighborhood where they were shooting. This wasn't just a symbolic move. It helped them understand the people, the culture, and the danger of the environment they were portraying. Some nights, actors reported hearing actual gunshots nearby. It blurred the line between fiction and reality in a haunting way. Number 19. The studio almost shelved the movie after test screening. When Columbia Pictures first screened Boyz and the Hood for executives, many thought it was too raw and too political. They feared audiences wouldn't relate to life in South Central, or that it would cause controversy. Some even suggested toning down the violence and changing the ending. John Singleton stood his ground, refusing to compromise. His defiance paid off. The film not only became a box office hit, but also earned him 2 Oscar nominations at just 24 years old, making him the youngest first black director ever nominated. Number 20. The film sparked a real-life truce in Los Angeles. Here's something few people know. Boyz and the Hood had a real impact on gang relations in LA. After its release, several rival gang leaders reportedly met to discuss the film's message about violence and loss. It didn't solve the problem overnight, but it inspired conversations about unity, responsibility, and change. Even years later, community activists credit the movie for helping open dialogue in neighborhoods that had been divided for decades. John Singleton once said, "If even one person thought twice before picking up a gun because of my movie, then it was worth everything."